Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope your day is off to a fantastic start. I have another round of home fragrance reviews to share today. So that means that I will be sharing 3 different candle reviews throughout the day today. We're obviously kicking it off with HomeWorx Moroccan Pomegranate in this video here. But I will also be sharing a review of a Bath & Body Works candle as well as a Kringle candle throughout the day as well. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that by hitting that red subscribe button right below this video here, and that will ensure that all of my home fragrance content pops up in your subscription feed as it is released here on my channel. In full disclosure, this particular candle was sent to me as PR. I am an affiliate or an ambassador with HomeWorx, and that means that from time to time I will receive free candles from HomeWorx, and I am allowed to share whatever my unique thoughts or experiences are with the candles. I'm not required to say anything specific about the candles. So anyway, I'm always upfront about which candles are sent and which I purchase on my own. So I want to let you know before I get into this review that this one was sent to me. I do have a discount code with HomeWorx that will save you an additional 15% off of your purchase of $40 or more. I will put the information in the description box down below. That discount code is good on the HomeWorx website. My code is Melanie P, just the letter P. If you enter that at checkout with a purchase of, like I said, $40 or more, it should save you an additional 15%. It works with most sales, so it's always worth trying to pop that in there to see if you can save a little bit more money. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into Moroccan Pomegranate here. So this particular one, in all honesty, when I first got this, I was not crazy impressed with the fragrance prior to lighting it up. I mean, I thought it smelled nice. It's not a fragrance that is in my particular wheelhouse. If you're new here to my channel, I really tend to prefer gourmand fragrances. I like anything that smells like a baked good. I also really love fruity scents. Big fan of fruity scents, especially during the summer months. But this particular type of fragrance is a little bit more, I would say, conceptual, if you will. It's a little different for me. But I have to admit that after burning it now to the halfway point, because I am at that point in the candle here, I like this a lot more than I did just initially on cold sniff after burning it. It's a very unique kind of fragrance, and it also contains a fragrance note that I'm not crazy familiar with. I will be elaborating about Davana just a little bit more here as we go through the fragrance description. But yeah, this is really not something that I normally gravitate towards, but this is also why I kind of appreciate receiving PR, because this is not the type of scent that I would ever really purchase myself. So it's kind of nice to be able to experience something a little bit different, and it gives me an appreciation for fragrances that are not typically things, like I said, that I tend to gravitate towards. So the Moroccan Pomegranate is part of an entire collection called the Doce Vita collection. This one was inspired by Harry's travels throughout Italy. I feel like that's one of his favorite locations to travel to, just based off of what I've seen on his Instagram. There are several different fragrances in this collection. The Affogato Espresso, which I've actually already reviewed. I will link that review in the description box down below. That is a part of this collection, as is Coastal Water Lily. Now, Coastal Water Lily is a repackage. The Iced Coconut Chai, the Salted Caramel Gelato, which is a repackage as well as Pink Geranium. So those are all of the fragrances in this La Doce Vita collection. It's kind of an interesting roundup of scents because you've got some foodie scents here. You've got a floral. Actually, you've got a couple of florals. And then the one that I think is really different from all of the fragrances in this particular collection actually is this Moroccan pomegranate. So let's go through the usual review style here where I share the fragrance notes. I tell you what my nose picks up. We'll talk strength and throw, and then we'll do overall burn quality. All right, so the fragrance notes for Moroccan pomegranate read pomegranate juice, Davana, which I was not super familiar with again, Moroccan patchouli, and sandalwood. So let me just read you what Davana is because I had to look it up. So the Davana plant is a small and aromatic herbaceous plant which is native to the southern part of India, especially to the states of, oh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these, sorry. It is also known by its botanical name of Artemisia pallens. So I don't know, maybe you've heard of that. Probably not, because I certainly didn't. But what does Davana actually smell like? Okay, so it's an interesting little description here. Fruity, floral, and a tad woodsy. Davana's aroma is used as an aphrodisiac in some cultures. But yeah, so basically, what does Davana smell like to me in this scent? Honestly, I feel like for me, the Davana that's in here is coming across as mostly woodsy. So to my nose, the Davana smells woodsy. So we added a little bit of a woody element to this particular scent. I would actually liken it somewhat to sandalwood. Or almost like a driftwood type of fragrance note. In terms of the other fragrance notes, let me just pull those up again here. So the pomegranate juice. I do actually smell pomegranate in this fragrance, and it is one of the first things that I actually noticed, but it's not a sweet pomegranate. If you're thinking this smells like a sweetened pomegranate juice, it isn't that. It's almost like just pure pressed pomegranate juice where it's more tart than it is sweet. I actually also get a really healthy dose of that Moroccan patchouli here. But here's the thing about this particular patchouli. To my nose, there's two very distinct categories of patchouli. There's that very classic, like almost 1960s, like dirty, earthy, hippie type of patchouli. And then there is a more perfumey, more sophisticated type of patchouli. To my nose, this leans more towards the perfumey, sophisticated patchouli than it does towards that more earthy, dirty, hippie patchouli. I actually really like patchouli when it comes to personal fragrances. So when it comes to perfumes that I gravitate towards, if it has that beautiful perfumey patchouli note, it is typically a type of scent that I will immediately fall in love with. And that's what I pick up here. It's not super earthy at all. And it's kind of an interesting mix with the sandalwood and the Davana kind of woody note that I pick up here. I would say this fragrance leans a little bit more maybe masculine to my nose, but I wouldn't call it cologne-y or perfumey per se. It is just more so like a woody scent with that interesting tart pomegranate note, and then that perfumey patchouli. This is, I don't think that I've ever smelled anything quite like this one. And again, this is not what I gravitate towards, but I actually really like it. I think I would maybe care for it even a little bit more if it did have just a touch of sweetness to it, but it really doesn't. So if you're someone who really likes to stay away from sweeter scents, I would definitely tell you to consider this one. I think you might really like this particular composition, especially if you like sandalwood, if you are familiar with Davana and you like that woody Davana type note. If you're okay with the perfumey patchouli, I would say give this one a try. I think having that unsweetened pomegranate note makes this really interesting and kind of unique in my book. Is it something that I would clamor to repurchase myself? Probably not. And honestly, this is also not the type of scent that I would typically burn this time of year. When it comes to spring and summer scents, I really like things to be a little bit sweeter, a little bit fruitier. This is the type of scent, however, that I think would be absolutely lovely during more of like the winter months or perhaps even in the fall. I know a lot of people really enjoy pomegranate scents around the holidays as well. So this might be something that you may want to pick up to have on hand for later on in the year if you're a little bit more of a seasonal burner like I am. But I'm enjoying this for what it is right now. It is, again, very unique to my nose, and I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would just based off of cold sniff. But it will not be a repurchase for me. I can definitely tell you that. In terms of strength and throw, so this one I would put at a pretty solid medium strength and throw. It's not a house filler, I'll tell you that outright. If I were to put a number on the strength, I would put it at about a 6.5. And the throw I would put at just kind of a pretty solid 6. I would consider this a room filler where it travels a little bit outside of the immediate area where I'm burning it. And just for reference, the house that I live in is fairly open concept, and the rooms just kind of all meld into each other for the most part. I don't really have a lot of enclosed doorways, if you will, and our ceilings are very high in the downstairs. So this one does struggle a little bit with filling the downstairs of the house. It's okay for me in the case of this one because I don't know that I would want this to be a house filler for me. But if you're someone who lives in a house with a more traditional, regular ceiling height, or your rooms are a little bit more enclosed, I think you're probably gonna get a lot more out of this one in terms of strength and throw than I'm currently getting. But if you are the type of person that's looking for a house filler, I would tell you to stay away from this one because I just don't think you're going to get that from here. Now, in terms of the overall burn quality, I have not had any issues with this pulling out. I have not had any issues with this getting sooty or dirty on me, but I will say the wicks are very fragile. I'll be giving you guys an overhead shot here in a minute. This is something that I've noticed with a lot of new releases from HomeWorx, I would say within the last like 6 months or so. The wicks are very thin and they are fragile. You really need to be careful with trimming your wicks, and you need to be careful with the amount of hours that you burn these HomeWorx candles. I have a hard and fast rule with HomeWorx that I don't let them go for more than 3.5 hours at most. I believe the recommended burn time is right around 4 hours, so I tend to follow that. The wax pool, it gets decently deep, so the wicks are doing their job. Like, I get a solid wax pool, but I don't like the fragility of the wicks. I do have to trim them a little bit before each burn, and I have to use my cuticle scissors to do that. If I were to use a wick trimmer, for example, it would be very easy for me, I feel like, to damage these wicks and then to, you know, kind of basically make this candle dud out. So just be very careful with the trimming of the wicks, but you do need to trim the wicks for sure with each burn. There's not massive mushroom tops that form, but there are, you know, there are some carbon balls that are left after each burn. So let's go ahead and take an overhead view here of this particular candle so that you can see what it looks like. So we have a pretty decent wax pool. I did just actually light this up about 15 minutes before filming this video. So you can see that it has pooled all the way across. Those little black flecks that you see in there are obviously the little mushroom tops. They do fall into the wax as the wicks are burning. I find that kind of obnoxious, but it's not a huge deal. It doesn't affect the burn at all. It doesn't affect the fragrance at all. It looks unsightly, but it just kind of is what it is with these particular wicks, I feel like. But you can see that the flames are nice and tall. They're doing their job in terms of melting this wax. And honestly, as I'm standing over this, this smells really good. I really do like this scent. It is very unique. And like I said, out of my norm when it comes to home fragrance, but I've really kind of enjoyed burning something just a touch different from my usual go-to. So I'm definitely thankful for being able to receive this, but it's also not one that I would clamor to purchase again. But if this is the type of fragrance that you gravitate towards, I would definitely suggest considering it. I don't know if this one is going to show up at Marshall's, HomeGoods, TJ Maxx. As you guys may be familiar, a lot of HomeWorx candles have been showing up at the different discount stores. I'm not lucky enough in my area to really receive a lot of those. So when I purchase my HomeWorx candles, it's usually directly from the HomeWorx website or from QVC. But you can also find these candles at Nordstrom Rack sometimes. You can find them at Ulta as well. So yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts on Moroccan Pomegranate. Let me know if you are interested in this one, or definitely update me after you receive it, what your experience is with it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I appreciate you, and remember to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next candle review here in a few hours. Take care. Toodaloo.